The article I'll be discussing today is Blue is the Warmest Color. The Male Gaze Reigns Supreme by Kate Bernard from LGBT news publication Autostraddle, published November 2nd, 2013. In this article, Bernard discusses her thoughts on the film, which had just recently debuted at the time of this article's publication, so she kind of gets out a lot of her more raw emotions about this film. The main point of discussion in this article is the use of the male gaze in Blue is the Warmest Color. The first quote I wanted to highlight is, "Lesbianism via kashish is incapable of being casual. Its intensity is all-consuming, inhumanly magnetic, and as far as I can see, that in itself is a problematic framework for a straight man's portrayal of a queer narrative." I really agree with this quote, and I feel like Bernard really hits the nail on the head when kind of discussing the way that Kashish's portrayal of lesbianism in Blue is the Warmest Color feels very inauthentic and comes from a very male gaze-y way because he doesn't have the lived experience of a lesbian relationship or even being a queer woman, period, in any sense of the word. Another theme in this article that I found to be really interesting is the intersection between sexual expression and class. And one quote I wanted to point out is, "Queer sexuality, particularly female queer sexuality, is all too familiar with the caricature of the enlightened and liberated artist. The ties between the caricature and the idea of lesbianism as sexual experimentation. Of course, the trope implies the artist is a lesbian because she has the time and the liberal worldview to play in such realms, and alternative sexuality is a thing that belongs to people of privilege, people of impractical careers and creative mindsets. It can only be playtime to those who aspire to be teachers rather than professors, whose class level has them searching for practicality in their lives, whose narrative is bookmarked by men." I found this to be really interesting because this trope isn't just present in Blue is the Warmest Color, but also in lesbian media made by lesbians that I do really like. The first piece of media I thought of was 2019's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, directed by Celine Sahayam. The two main characters, Marie and Heloise, are only able to have their lesbian relationship because of their privilege, because they're able to live in like such an isolated community. And then the second piece of media I thought of was Sarah Waters' novel Tipping the Velvet. In the novel, the character that Nan is able to express her more masculine side with in public is Diana, and that's kind of because Diana is very privileged and very rich, and that kind of allows Diana to sort of get away with more when it comes to her gender identity and sexuality. The last part of Bernard's article I want to touch on is Jill Moreau's reaction to Blue is the Warmest Color, the film. They stated, "Jill Moreau has weighed in on the adaptation, and their comments concerning its sex scenes stood out to me. This is all it brings to my mind, a brutal and surgical display, exuberant and cold, of so-called lesbian sex, which turned into porn and made me feel very ill at ease. All I could think as I watched the scenes was that they were not two people fucking because they were desperate, even harmfully in love. It looked like two women fucking in a way that would be stimulating to a viewer with very little expectation for queer intercourse." And I feel like this statement from both Bernard and Moreau combined kind of just sums up a lot of my personal thoughts, and I feel like a lot of the thoughts from the class about our discussions on the Blue is the Warmest Color film. So yeah, thank you for listening to my gay rambling about this film and this article. I encourage you to go read Kate Bernard's article. I will link it down below. And hope you have a good day or good night. Bye.